Leo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid to late October 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Leo collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Leos in mid to late October? It's a lovely time of year. What energies, messages, insights can we take a peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Leo in mid to late October. What's the vibe? Let's get this card out nice and quick, hopefully. Sometimes the deck can be a little bit picky. It makes us work for it, right? Let's get this first card out. Oh, okay. I'll take it. So we have this card. It's pretty much packed with symbolism, and it seems pretty inconspicuous at first glance. But to me, this card just has a lot going on. So to me, it either represents situations that have a lot of complexity. There's also undertones of strategy and planning. So whether that's coming from you or somebody else. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the October subscriber surprise towards the end. So you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this. So some of the things we see, we have this woman, she's kind of covered in this red blanket. There's this bird cage that's filled with butterflies, and one seems to be escaping. We got the cat, we got the chessboard with the queen illuminated. So there's a lot of little subtle symbolism happening here. Now, I generally tend to focus in on the complexity of the card itself. So for some Leos, whether it's complex feelings that you're dealing with, where it's like, you know what, it should be simple, but it's really not. I feel this way and this way at the same time. Maybe there's someone you're connected to that's feeling that way as well. So whether it's complex feelings, complex emotions, complex situations, this card is a big hallmark of that to me. Now, aside from that, the strategy and planning, of course. So Spirit may be saying, all right, Leo, maybe you should take a structured approach to something, like step by step by step. No rush, but you might need to plan something out, or either somebody else might be planning something as well when this card is here. So we'll keep an eye through the reading to see if more strategic undertones start to show up. But yeah, it could just be complexity. So we're just going to put her down right there. She could keep playing chess against her cat. So let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright, and we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up here. What do we got for the lovely Leos? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. Felt a little grumpy to me, my friends. It was titled They Are Mad. Now, that could have been you, could have been somebody else, might have been a little temperamental over the past week, and that's an energy that could still bleed through. It did feel quite aggressive. So hopefully you weren't dealing with someone that was a little too pushy, a little too aggressive. And again, maybe it was you. Maybe you lost your temper with something. Leos are usually chill in my experience, but hey, you are a fire sign after all. But let's see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for the lovely Leos. What's happening in mid to late October? There we go. Thank you. Queen of Swords, stern. Okay. That's someone that's not playing around. That's more of that strategic energy. Doesn't quite feel aggressive like I was feeling last week, but she is not messing around. This Queen of Swords, that's for sure. Let's get a couple more, especially when she starts the reading. Okay, 4 Swords, had this in the Aries reading as well. So maybe it's a fire sign thing. We have a lot of air energy, a lot of mental energy. Let's get one more out here. What do we got for Leo, please? Mid to late October. I mean, I'm feeling neutral right now. So all swords. So we do have the 3 of Swords right here on the back. This could actually be a very healing energy I'm seeing in the middle and back. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I was already commenting on it as the cards were coming out. There's a lot of air. Now, I always get a little skeptical when it's like all one element in the main portion. So we got the Queen of Swords, the 4 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, very much air heavy. And what area does this rule over? Communication, sure, like how you speak, how you express yourself, how other people do as well. It's very logical. It's the logical mind. So that plan-based energy we were seeing earlier, where it's strategic, it's making moves. So we do have this planning type of vibe happening as well. The only thing with swords is that sometimes it could be a little short, sometimes it could be a little cold, sometimes it can be a little mean. So we're gonna have to see. I am feeling neutral about it thus far, though. I'm not feeling like too nervous about all these swords, but let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Queen of Swords. Now, as I mentioned when she popped out, she's generally not an energy that's messing around. Now, for a small portion of you, maybe you're connected to an air sign, so Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. If that's not the case, this could be an energy you're stepping into. So let's talk about her. Queens, they represent the internal aspect of the suit. So we already spoke about what the swords mean, the planning, communication. But the Queen of Swords, the thing I love about her is her straightforward, no nonsense, no frills, no BS approach to things. So for a lot of Leos, that might just be an energy you're carrying where it's like, you know what, I'm not wasting my time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's very much about its business. If it's speaking, if it's talking, it's honest to a fault type of energy, which can be good. The downside to the Queen of Swords, yeah, she could be a little mean sometimes. So watch out for hurting other people's feelings. That could be a potential when she's here. I always say with the Queen of Swords, like she's extremely serious. So she could tell us like, hey, maybe you're dealing with something serious, or maybe you should take something seriously when we have the Queen of Swords. She does also tie into the strategy again, the planning. She's a master strategist. So we'll see what's up with her as we move through the reading. She's sticking to that Four of Swords. Now, as we move over to the next card, it is swords, but it's definitely a totally different vibe, which I'm picking up in the fire signs this week. You see this individual, it looks like they're laying down. It looks like they're praying. Now, there's a lot of good positives to this card. It's extremely spiritual. It's much softer, much more calm than the Queen of Swords. I would say it could be a time of rest. It could be a time of healing. So for some of you, you might be going through things like that where you're recuperating. If you are low on energy, if you're feeling zapped or drained, or you've been really run through the ringer, the Four of Swords is Spirit saying like, all right, Leo, well, maybe be kind to yourself. Maybe take a little time and just heal in one way or another. There's nothing wrong with that. Take it easy, take it slow. Strong spiritual ties with the Four of Swords. So going inward, meditation, praying, anything you want to do, manifesting. It's speaking to your inner voice, which is a good thing. But what's the downside to this card? It could represent delays. It could represent problems. It could represent feeling stuck. So we're going to have to look and see what this is, whether it is a problem or a situation where it's like, I don't know how to deal with this one. We'll just need to look at it. Now, moving to the back end is the only part of the reading that has me a little more focused in raising an eyebrow, so to speak. We got the Three of Swords. Now, this is an iconic, classic piece of imagery. I'm sure you've all seen it 1,000 times, even if you're new to tarot. The three swords cutting through the heart. Now, I always say with this card, it's on a spectrum. It could be very, very minor. It could also be major. It depends on what you're going through. It's a card that could be anxiety. It could be nervousness. It could be sadness. It could be a broken heart. It could be feeling betrayed. So you see what I mean? It covers a big scale of potential things. Sometimes it could be an ending, but it's not. It's just not an easy energy. What I do like is how it's next to the Four of Swords, because these two cards together represent improvement, which I do like. But we do want to look at it. Positive with the Three of Swords is the fact that it's not permanent. That's one thing I always say about it. It's like, okay, not the nicest energy, but it will resolve. It will get fixed in one way or another. So I want to dive deeper on all of this, Leo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. Let's see what's happening for the lovely Leos, my guides. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Queen. Let's see what she has to say. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Leo, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Queen of Swords time. Why is she here? How do we got the Queen? Thank you. Okay. All right, so it's not bad. It is one of your power cards, so it's interesting. A lot of you could be stepping into this Queen of Swords energy. Either that, or it is something where Spirit's like, listen, Leo, take it seriously. right? Because that is one of your huge power cards. But it could also be you taking control of something too. I like what I'm feeling for the most part. And even if you're a cross watcher, this does tend to lean pretty good to me. Um, the sun, in its classical sense, aside from being one of your power cards, uh, it represents source energy, right? It's very intense. It's light, life, and love. It's extremely positive. It represents wins and victories. So when we see this Queen of Swords, if there is strategizing, if there is planning, it's someone where it's like, I just want the best possible result for me and for everyone involved. So if it is somebody planning, you or otherwise, or spirit telling you to plan, it's like aim high, right? Like you want to shoot for the stars here and try to get the best result possible because you could get it. But at the same time, the first thing I was feeling is like, all right, maybe there is something where spirit wants you to really knuckle down. Don't joke about it because this card could be lighthearted, so to speak. So when I see the Queen of Swords with a lighthearted card, it's like, no, maybe you should take this seriously. Or maybe there's somebody you're connected to where it's like, they're not taking it seriously, so I'm picking up all the slack for it. It's like one of those vibes. It's very peculiar. So again, watch out for serious situations or things that you should probably look into a little further. Aside from that, there is good energy around planning still. So I think that's good. It's strategic, but not in a malicious way. Sometimes strategy and planning gets a bad reputation. This doesn't necessarily feel bad. Let's keep moving. We're going to see what else we have. Simple message right there on the front. So what do we got here for Leo in the center? Why is the Four of Swords in the mix for my good friends? Why is it here? Thank you. And more of the planning. I don't know what this is. Is it something up your sleeve? Is it something up someone else's sleeve? Is it both? Because I'm getting it in two places here, the planning, the strategy. The Two of Wands is right up there with her with the same type of vibe. Now, I like the Two of Wands. To me, it is a very positive cards. All twos in tarot represent decisions, choices, being at a crossroads potentially. Notice this person is holding a globe, so it's plotting its course. So maybe there is something where spirit's like, all right, hit the brakes for a minute, hold the horses, and plan it accordingly or plan it out. Like there is somebody that's, in the laboratory, so to speak, like really trying to structure something or should, because we see it in both areas. This to me, the Four of Swords with the Two of Wands is like, do not make any moves until you know what you're doing. Like, do not just hold on for a minute, then like plan, then act. And as a fire sign myself, I know we get the reputation to be very spontaneous from time to time. We could flare up a little bit, it's all good, but this one is the opposite. So whether it's advice from another thing I need to mention, we got the fire air combination, which can be explosive, which tells me it's like, all right, well, maybe there's something you really want to do or really want to handle. Spirit's like, hold it, hold on for a minute, Leo, take your time, pace it out. So yeah, there's someone planning here, whether it's you or them or both. It's just a lot of behind the scenes type of stuff. Let's keep moving to the Three of Swords, because that's the part that's really, I don't want to say concerning me, but now I want to see what's the result of all this. So why is the Three of Swords here for my lovely Leos? Then we'll do our recap before we get into the shadow. So what's going on with that three, please? Yeah, this energy is like, don't wing it. So whether it's work, personal relationships, there is something where it's like, no, take it seriously, don't wing it, structure it. So why is the Three of Swords in the mix? Why is it here? Thank you. Eh, I wish it could be better. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but we have the Five of Cups in reverse underneath the Three of Swords. It's like, yeah, no, this is bothering me. It's not the worst, but there's a lot of room for improvement. So whether if there is something you're taking control of or something you're really putting energy into, like it could be anything. Honestly, whether it's a relationship or whether it's work or whether it's like renovating a house, it's like, oh, this is in rough shape. This needs some help. Like that's what's showing up in my intuition here, where there is something or someone that could be a pressure point or a pain point, and it's like, yeah, this person needs a little bit of help here, or they need a little bit of assistance. Like this isn't great, it's not the worst, but it can be a lot better. So whether it's a situation itself, let's talk about it a little further. The Five of Cups is usually called the River of Tears. You see that person, they're all dressed in black, they're goth. Three of the cups are spilled, two of them are still standing, there's stuff in the background. So sure, this is that same thing. Nervousness, depression, sadness, feeling down. But again, good thing, just like the Three of Swords, when it's in reverse, it's getting better, slowly but surely. So for some of you, maybe there is a situation where it was rough for a while, but it's getting better. So you may be coming out of a rough patch of some sort, where there could be something that's improving. I wish it would be better. I wish it would improve quicker, but there's still potential. That's how it feels to me. So you have a very nuanced, layered reading this week, Leo. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we got that Queen of Swords and the Sun, stern, serious, to the point. So again, whether it's a situation that Spirit wants you to take seriously or plan it, uh, maybe you're taking the reins with something, controlling how the vehicle moves. I think it's good. It feels good to me. It's planning for the best all around. Moving to the middle, we have more of the same. So we have the Four of Swords with the Two of Wands in reverse. Hopefully, these aren't two plans colliding, where it's like, I'm planning this, but they're planning that. We need to find a middle ground. Because it's like two people strategizing potentially for some of you. Moving to the back, and yeah, there is this restrained energy where it's like, not yet, hold, hold. Moving to the back, we have the Three of Swords with the Five of Cups in reverse. Big room for improvement with something where it's like not the worst, but it could still be much, much better. Um, so again, I gave you a lot of examples about what it could be. Sure, maybe there's someone that's on edge, but I think for a lot of you, you might be coming out of a rough patch. So, or someone is. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they can be a good thing too. So let's get you one. What do we got for Leo in the shadows? And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for Leo? What do we got for the lovely Leos? Thank you. Oh, surprise, surprise. Do you want to guess who it is? It is a court card. I'll give you a lucky guess. Miss Queen of Swords showing up again. And I think this is really funny. She didn't show up in reverse. I was just holding her that way. But just like the very first card within. So I will say we're going to look at her shadow side. You already know all the positives about this Queen of Swords. If you're connected to an air sign, maybe this is still a very much alive, energetic connection with an air sign. So again, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But if that's not the case, you know the downside to the Queen of Swords. She could be very stern. She could be very strict. She can be mean and hurtful. So if this matches the energy of somebody you have to deal with, maybe Spirit's like, all right, well, maybe put a little space between that hurtful type of energy. But there can also be a vibe where it's like, maybe you should also be careful not to come on too strong or hurt somebody's feelings. Again, I mean, we can't control what people feel, right? We can only control our reactions. But whenever I see the Queen of Swords in the shadows, it could be someone that's being a little too mean, right? For, I don't want to say for no reason, but she's like pouring it on thick. So just watch out for that. Again, we're just going to put her down right there. She could chill out. And yeah, Leo, that's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though, my friends. I'm going to give you the details of the October subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and book a personal reading with me, you could check out my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The October schedule is up there and it's filling up quick. So if you want to have a little chat, go over there and check it out. But for the October subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of the most stunning decks I've ever experienced, the Star Tarot. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments. Since last month, I asked everybody which zodiac sign they get along best with. This month, out of all the zodiac signs, which one do you clash with a little bit there? Drop it down in the comments. You'll be entered to win. And the winners will be announced in the community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.